Hello there, and welcome to another lesson where you'll learn how American people speak in their everyday city life. In this video, we'll go through real English sentences that people use when they're walking on the street, going to work, or chatting with friends at a cafe. These sentences are long and simple, just like how people talk in real life, with pauses and natural rhythm. If you are trying to improve your listening skills, or want to sound more like a native speaker, then this video is just for you. All the sentences you will hear are designed to help you understand how real Americans speak casually in their cities. So, get ready to listen carefully, pause when needed, and repeat out loud to improve your pronunciation and fluency. Let's begin your journey toward natural, confident, and fluent English speaking, the way real Americans do it every day. Let's go. When American people talk in their city, they often say things in a very casual and relaxed way, with a friendly tone and short phrases. You might hear someone say, "Hey, what's up?" instead of, "Hello, how are you doing today?" because it's faster and more natural. In many cities, people don't always use full sentences, especially when they are in a hurry or talking to someone they know well. For example, someone might say, "Gotta go," instead of saying, "I have to leave now." In places like New York City, people walk fast, talk fast, and often use quick expressions like, "I'm good," "no worries," or "all good." When someone bumps into another person on the street, they might quickly say, "My bad," which is an informal way to say, "I'm sorry." In American cities, people also use a lot of contractions, like don't, can't, won't, and I'm, to keep the conversation smooth and easy. When you go to a coffee shop, you might hear someone say, "Can I get a medium latte, please?" instead of saying, "May I have a medium-sized latte, please?" People usually speak directly, but they try to sound polite, using words like please, thanks, and excuse me. If someone is giving directions, they might say, "Take a left at the light, then go straight 2 blocks," instead of explaining every single detail. American people like to get to the point quickly, especially when they are busy or talking about something simple. In cities like Los Angeles or Chicago, it's common to hear people use phrases like, "You know what I mean?" or just, "right?" to check if the other person understands. When talking about plans, people might say, "Let's hang out later," or "Want to grab lunch," which means they want to meet and eat together. In the evening, someone might say, "I'm just chilling at home," meaning they are relaxing and not doing much. When Americans are excited, they often say, "That's awesome," or "So cool," instead of saying, "That is very nice." If someone feels unsure, they might say, "I don't know, maybe," or just, "Not sure yet," which shows they are still thinking. When people are happy or agree with something, they may say, "Sounds good," or "Yeah, totally." If a friend asks how the day was, a person might reply, "It was pretty good, just worked a lot and then came home." In the city, conversations often include simple, everyday words and a lot of slang, depending on the area. People say kinda instead of kind of, and gonna instead of going to speak faster and more naturally. If someone is late, they might say, "Sorry, traffic was crazy," instead of giving a long explanation. When someone is done with their work, they might say, "I'm clocking out," which means they are leaving their job for the day. At a store, a customer might say, "Do you guys have this in a smaller size?" instead of asking very formally. If a person is looking for food, they may ask, "Any good spots around here?" which means, "Are there good restaurants nearby?" When someone wants to be polite in the city, they might say, "No problem," or "Don't worry about it," even when something small goes wrong. In conversations, Americans often nod or say "uh-huh" to show they are listening, even if they don't say full sentences. When someone is unsure about something, they might say, "It's up in the air," which means the decision has not been made yet. If something is very easy, people might say, "It's a piece of cake," which is an idiom meaning it's simple to do. If they are tired, they may say, "I'm beat," or "I'm wiped out," instead of just saying, "I am very tired." When a person enjoys something, they may say, "I'm loving it," or "It's great," with energy and excitement. When talking to someone new, people might say, "Nice to meet you," or just, "Hey, how's it going?" In many cities, people also use expressions like "catch you later" or "see ya" instead of "goodbye." If someone makes a mistake, they might laugh and say, "Oops, my bad," to admit it in a casual way. People often shorten words like saying veggies instead of vegetables, or fridge instead of refrigerator. In cities, the speech is fast, casual, and full of energy, especially when people are with their friends or coworkers. If a person wants to be helpful, they might say, "Let me know if you need anything," instead of saying it in a longer way. At work, coworkers might say, "Let's touch base later," which means to talk again soon about the project. If someone likes your clothes, they might say, "That's a cool jacket," or "Love your shoes," as a compliment. In casual conversations, many people use words like, you know, and literally, even if they don't always add meaning. For example, someone might say, "I was totally surprised," to show how shocked they were. When friends meet after a long time, they might say, "It's been forever," or "Long time no see." If someone is talking about something confusing, they might say, "I don't get it," or "That doesn't make sense." When people agree with each other, they might say, "Exactly," or "Totally, I feel the same way." If someone is having a busy day, they might say, "I've been running around all day," meaning they had a lot to do. In cities, people often use their hands while talking and speak with expressions on their faces. If something is fun or exciting, someone might say, "That was a blast," or "We had such a good time." People also use words like super, as in super tired, or super fun, to add more feeling to what they say. When someone doesn't care much, they might say, "Whatever," or "It is what it is," in a relaxed tone. If a person is really surprised, they might say, "No way," or "Are you serious?" with wide eyes. When someone feels nervous, they may say, "I've got butterflies," which is a fun way to say they feel anxious. People use cool in many ways, as a reply, a compliment, or just to agree with something. If someone is excited to start something, they might say, "Let's do this," or "I'm all in." In many American cities, speech is friendly, confident, and full of small phrases that make the talk feel natural. If a person is waiting for something, they might say, "Fingers crossed," which means they are hoping for the best. If someone needs to think about something, they might say, "Let me sleep on it," meaning they'll decide tomorrow. In the city, people often speak while walking, driving, or even shopping, and the language stays light and simple. Many people use positive words like sweet, nice, great, or perfect to keep the mood happy. Even when someone is angry, they may say, "That's messed up," or "That's not cool," to stay calm while expressing their feelings. If someone wants to be honest, they might say, "To be real with you," or "honestly," before saying their thoughts. If a person is unsure or thinking out loud, they might say, "I'm not sure, but maybe we could try that." When talking to children or pets, people often change their tone, using sweeter or higher-pitched voices. If someone feels happy about a decision, they might say, "Good call," or "Smart move." American city speech is often playful, expressive, and full of easy-to-learn phrases that help you sound more natural. If someone wants to cheer up a friend, they might say, "You got this," or "Don't worry, it'll be fine." When people are surprised in a good way, they often say, "No kidding," or "That's amazing." If a person wants to leave a conversation politely, they might say, "All right, I gotta run," or "Talk to you later." In casual talks, people often say, "By the way," when they want to change the subject or add something. If something happens suddenly, Americans might say, "Out of the blue," which means it was unexpected. When someone tells a joke or something funny, others might say, "That's hilarious," or just laugh and say, "You're too much." If a person is having fun, they might say, "We're having a blast," or "This is so much fun." In the city, people are often direct, but they usually try not to sound rude or too serious. When someone wants to be honest in a gentle way, they might say, "I hate to say it, but," or "To be honest." If a person doesn't understand something, they might ask, "Can you say that again?" Or, "Wait, what?" If someone is excited about an event, they might say, "I can't wait," or "I'm looking forward to it." When talking about money, people might say, "It cost me an arm and a leg," which means it was very expensive. If something is cheap or a good deal, they might say, "It was a steal." If someone doesn't want to do something, they might say, I'm not feeling it, or maybe another time. When talking about future plans, Americans often say, we'll figure it out, or let's play it by ear, meaning let's decide later. In many cities, people often shorten questions like, you good? Instead of, are you okay? If someone is really hungry, they might say, I'm starving, or I could eat a horse. When someone finishes eating, they might say, that hit the spot, which means the food was just right. If something is very funny, people may say, I'm dying, or I can't stop laughing. In daily talk, people say, no big deal, when something small happens and they don't want others to worry. When someone is angry, they might say, I've had it, or I'm fed up, to show their frustration. If a person wants to encourage a friend, they may say, you're doing great, or keep it up. If someone makes plans, they might say, let's pencil it in, which means the plan isn't final but likely. If they change their mind, they might say, scratch that, which means forget what I just said. In cities, people often mix small talk with simple questions like, how was your weekend, or busy day? If someone needs help, they might say, can you give me a hand? Or, mind helping me out? If something doesn't work, Americans might say, it's acting up, or it's broken again. If a person wants to show respect, they might say, much appreciated, or thanks a lot. When someone gives advice, they might say, just a heads up, or for what it's worth. In the city, people often say, I'm in, to show they agree or want to join something. If someone wants to relax, they might say, I need to unwind, or time to take it easy. When someone is really focused, they might say, I'm in the zone, or I'm on a roll. If someone is very happy, they might say, I'm over the moon, or today's been great. When talking about work, people might say, it's crunch time, which means it's a busy period. If someone is confused, they might say, I'm lost, or that went over my head. If something is boring, people might say, it's a drag, or not my cup of tea. If something is exciting, they may say, it's lit, or this is fire, modern slang for cool. People often say, let me get back to you, if they need time to answer. In casual city life, you'll hear, hang tight, which means wait a moment. If someone is being honest, they might say, real talk, or just keeping it real. If a person is lucky, others might say, you're so lucky, or what are the odds? When something ends suddenly, people might say, that came out of nowhere. If someone forgets something, they might say, it slipped my mind, or I totally blanked. If someone is ready, they might say, let's roll, or I'm all set. If something is confusing, people might say, it's all Greek to me. If someone doesn't want to answer, they might say, no comment, or I'll pass. When giving bad news gently, people might say, I hate to break it to you, but if something feels too hard, people might say, that's above my pay grade. When people want to stay positive, they might say, look on the bright side. If a person needs time, they might say, I need a minute, or let me think. If someone is impressed, they might say, wow, just wow, or that's next level. When people are curious, they may say, what's the scoop, or spill the tea. If someone is not interested, they might say, I'm good, thanks, or I'll pass. If someone is late, they might say, sorry, I lost track of time. If someone is very busy, they may say, I've got a lot on my plate. When something is great, people often say, that's legit, or that's top-notch. When things go wrong, someone might say, it is what it is. When people get along well, they say, we vibe, or we click. If someone is nervous, they might say, I've got cold feet. When people are serious, they might say, no joke, or dead serious. If someone is lying, others might say, I'm calling you out. If someone is acting strange, people might say, that's kinda sketchy. If someone's doing well, they might say, I'm killing it. If someone is very confident, they may say, I got this. When someone gives their opinion, they may say, here's my take. If something ends well, people say, all's well that ends well. If someone wants to help, they say, I've got your back. If someone is energetic, they might say, I'm pumped. If someone is scared, they may say, that freaked me out. If someone is calm, they may say, I'm chill. If someone is done with something, they may say, I'm over it. If someone is excited, they may say, can't wait. If someone is bored, they may say, I need something to do. If something is awkward, they may say, well, that was weird. If something is funny, they may say, that cracked me up. If someone wants you to wait, they say, hold up. If they want to start again, they say, let's start fresh. If they want to calm down, they say, take a deep breath. If something is obvious, they say, no brainer. If someone is proud, they may say, I nailed it. If someone did badly, they say, I messed up. If someone agrees, they say, I'm with you. If someone wants help, they say, lend me a hand. If someone is tired, they say, I need a break. If someone is unsure, they say, still deciding. If they want to talk later, they say, we'll talk soon. If something ends, they say, it's a wrap. If they're happy, they say, can't complain. If something is possible, they say, could be. If something is hard, they say, tough call. If they want to agree, they say, fair enough. If they want to leave, they say, I'm out. If something is helpful, they say, good to know. If they're confused, they say, wait, what? If they want silence, they say, zip it. If they're serious, they say, no cap. If they don't know, they say, beats me. If they're surprised, they say, whoa. If they want to try, they say, worth a shot. If they disagree, they say, not quite. If something is weird, they say, that's odd. If they want attention, they say, listen up. If they give up, they say, I'm done. If they win, they say, victory. If they lose, they say, you win some, you lose some. If they're annoyed, they say, seriously? If they want to chill, they say, let's hang. If they're happy, they say, feeling good. If they're angry, they say, I'm pissed. If they're sorry, they say, my bad. If they want to meet, they say, let's catch up. If they want to eat, they say, grab a bite. If they like something, they say, love it. If they dislike something, they say, not a fan. If they want to go, they say, let's bounce. If they're sleepy, they say, I'm crashing. If they're excited, they say, hyped up. If something is easy, they say, too easy. If they're smart, they say, quick thinking. If they want to finish, they say, let's wrap it up. If they want to check in, they say, you good? If they want to hear more, they say, go on. If they're curious, they say, what happened next? If they're amused, they say, that's rich. If they need time, they say, hold on. If they're grateful, they say, thanks a ton. If they agree, they say, right on. If they understand, they say, gotcha. If they're amazed, they say, mind-blowing. If they feel lucky, they say, feeling blessed. If they like someone, they say, cool people. If they trust you, they say, I got you. If they're ready, they say, let's go. If they need help, they say, SOS. If something's broken, they say, it's toast. If they're moving fast, they say, I'm flying. And when they're done talking, they say, that's all for now. You've just heard more than 100 real, natural English sentences that people use every day in cities across America. These sentences are not from textbooks. They are from real conversations that happen in cafes, stores, streets, and workplaces. By listening to this kind of English again and again, you will slowly begin to think in English and speak with more confidence. Remember, understanding how native speakers talk in daily life is the key to fluency and confidence. Practice speaking these sentences out loud and try using them in your own conversations. The more you listen, repeat, and speak, the better your English will become, step by step, every single day. Thank you so much for watching this video and for practicing with me today. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more natural English learning videos just like this one. Take care of yourself, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye for now.